I'm Val, and this is my husband Josh. For a long time, we dreamed of a different life. So in the summer of 2019, we sold nearly everything we own and hit the road to travel full-time. Along with our 3 cats, we live and travel in our 30-foot Airstream. Yep, that's about 200 square feet. While it would be nice to be retired in our early 30s, that's just not our life. So we continue to work running our ad agency from the road. Life on the road can be complicated at times, but the opportunities for discovery far outweigh our challenges. Each week, we bring you along to a new destination, discovering with us the best it has to offer. Join us on this journey as we balance work with play and learn how we can all find more adventure in the world around us. Hi guys, I'm Val.
And I'm Josh.
And along with our 3 kooky cats, we live and travel full-time in our 30-foot Airstream. We started a series on what it's like to live full-time on the road, and this is part 2 of that. We have no end in sight. We have no idea how many of these we're going to make. If you didn't see our video last week, you can come back and check it out. I'll put a link here and in the description, and it was how much we spent the first 3 months on the road. If you haven't seen it yet, let's just say we spent way too much money the first 3 months on the road. So today we thought, while we are certainly not experts yet on full-time living on the road, we have learned a ton. So we thought we would put together a pros and cons list of what we have kind of come to love and not love so much about living full-time on the road.
Yes. So I'll let you kick it off with the first pro.
Sure. So number 1 on our pros list is the weather. We have been so lucky for most of our trip to be around great weather, and that has, I guess, luck, but also we have driven south
yes,
in the first few months intentionally. We love the idea that you get to choose the weather that you love. If you are a sunbird and you just want to be in the sun all the time, kind of like we are, you can go to places that are sunny and warm. If you love snow, if you're a skier, like, you can go there. If you were a beach bum and you just want to be by the beach all the time, that's an option for you. I love that about having a nomadic life, that you can take your home with you anywhere that you want and be happy about it.
Yeah, so number 1 on the cons list is fatigue.
Yeah.
So starting out, we were very excited. We wanted to see everything, do everything on top of working 2 full-time jobs during the week, traveling to the next location. So fatigue did start to set in, especially in month 2 after essentially everything caught up to us. But it is definitely something that we've improved on, trying to plan ahead a little bit better and realizing that you can't do everything, and that's a great reason to come back next time.
Yeah, I think we drove 6,000 miles in the first 3 months. That's really far. And we were moving every week, and we were climbing these crazy mountains, and it definitely got the best of us. So I'm really thankful that we have slowed down just a little bit, not a lot, but just a little bit when it comes to what we do, what we see, and giving ourselves permission to rest a little bit, that we don't have to be going 1,000 miles an hour every day all the time. We still have to rest.
Yes.
Oh, number 2 on the pros list is experiences. We have been, I would say, truly blessed by the volume of experiences that we have gotten to have already in just 3 months. I think that you can have amazing experiences anywhere that you are, whether that's in your backyard, what's near you. We were able to have incredible experiences when we lived in New York City. We lived in Seattle, but we were a little limited to kind of what was in driving distance to us. And what we've loved so much is that we have just been able to go and experience things that were just so different to what we were doing every day. Being in Yosemite one day and Napa the next, it was just amazing. Being able to ride hot air balloons, we've had great experiences. And I think that that's something that living a lifestyle where you move a lot and you go to new places really allots you.
Yeah. Number 2 on our cons list is lack of routine. So our house is on wheels. Things change, location changes. So as a result, it's not a consistent routine that we were getting prior in our house or in our apartment. Myself, I'm very much a creature of habit, so having the same thing happen over and over again makes me feel very comfortable. It's something I've had to learn to deal with and improve and kind of be comfortable with the unknown to some degree. We've started to build in more routine in the morning, realizing that little bit of consistency does make a difference for the rest of the day and the rest of the week, and definitely makes us feel a lot better.
Next up on our pros list is freedom. And this is not to say that you don't have freedom where you live now, but our ability to go and do whatever we want, whenever we want, is just mind-blowing to me. I'm like, sometimes can't even believe that we just have the freedom to go and do and experience things the way that we have. And
if we don't like something, and if we don't like something or a place we're at, we can just move.
Yeah, I think about the wildfires in California. You know, we had the freedom to just take our house with us. That is amazing. I mean, we watched people having to evacuate their homes and leave everything behind, and we just took ours with us. Yeah. So that's been I'm really thankful for that.
Definitely. Number 3 on the cons list is unexpected issues. So our house moves, as I've mentioned before. It shakes.
A lot.
Things break.
Yep.
They have to be fixed. So you just don't know what's going to happen and when it's going to happen. Everything could be going fine, but the fact that you have to fix something right away is something you have to deal with.
Yeah, I'm now a master RV plumber.
Yes.
I have, in both our fifth wheel and our Airstream, had to repair water-related issues. These are things I just never thought I would have to do. I had to learn how to use PEX, and I don't know, I didn't have any experience in this. And when it happens in the middle of the night, or it happens in the middle of Yosemite when you have no cell service, or in a parking lot, your truck battery dies in a parking lot hours away from where you're staying, things like that can just razzle you if you don't kind of come prepared to know that those things are going to happen. And we've done a lot to sort of educate ourselves on things to expect and be prepared for them, have the right tools available to us.
Be extremely patient.
Be patient. Patience is definitely something we're learning in abundance since hitting the road. So it's a con, but it's also something that you can make less of a stress for you if you kind of expect the unexpected. Next up on our pros list is nature. And to be fair, Josh and I are not these, crazy outdoors people. If you watch any of our videos, I think there's as many city tours as there are nature-related tours. Yes. We do like nature. We love the experience of being out in nature, but what I think that we've come to learn that we love the most is that living this nomadic lifestyle allows us the variety of nature. We lived in the Pacific Northwest for 4 years. We did do a lot of hiking. We loved it. It was great. But I love that one day we can be at Yosemite
and 7,000 feet in elevation, and the next week we are in a few weeks later.
We were in Death Valley.
At 200 feet in elevation.
Totally. I love that we've had the experiences of these giant mountains to these deserts to the ocean, and I just feel really thankful that we get to experience all this different nature and kind of start to learn what we love most in nature and just how it makes us feel being in it.
Yeah. So going back to the cons list, number 4 we have Wi-Fi and connectivity reliability. We work Monday through Friday and we need to have reliable internet and service, so that has definitely been a learning curve for us. We do have a hotspot, our phones we can connect to. A lot of the parks do have Wi-Fi services, but those are spotty at times, and then you have to make sure your network is secure, so that slows down the service. So just things that we've had to learn along the way, what works best for us, and it's definitely something we've gotten better at in the first 3 months.
Yeah, we're actually working on a video all about full-time travel, internet, what our setup looks like, how we work full-time from the road. It's not always easy. Sometimes you have to be willing to be creative. You have to go find internet, and you have to plan for that. I mean, that's part of it, is you might think you're going to find internet somewhere and show up and it's not there. But yeah, look forward to that video in coming weeks. It'll be a Wednesday release, and we're going to go through how we do it in our RV, what our setup looks like, and what do we do when we find ourselves somewhere when we just can't get internet.
Yes.
Okay, next up on our pros list is choice. Again, similar to freedom, I think that you have choice in your life every day wherever you are. We have an abundance of choice, and that might be scary for some people. For us, or at least for me, I know I thrive on that. I love that one day we can be somewhere and be like, I don't want to be here anymore, and just go and choose something else. Or we can think we're going to go do one experience, get there, it's crowded, and we say, you know what, we're not going to do it, we'll go somewhere else. And I've just loved that. I love that we have this endless amount of choice of where we are, how long we're there, what we do while we're there. It's been really amazing.
It has. Just transitioning to number 5 on the cons list, costs. I would even add to that set costs. When we were in our apartment or at our house, we had a set rent, a set mortgage. So it was kind of expected what we were going to be paying each month. Obviously, there was some fluctuation from what we budgeted. But as we've learned in the first 3 months, there are unknowns from rent, gas. These costs do vary quite a bit more, on the lower end. But definitely from a budgeting standpoint, understanding what that is consistently each month.
Yeah, I think if you haven't seen it, check out last week's video where we talked about the cost of living on the road full time. And I think one of the things that we've learned is expect things to cost more than you think they're going to. Expect there to be huge variances as you travel. We've now been through 4 or 5 states, and already we've seen just drastic differences in prices, whether that's RV parks, gas, food, price of entry to experiences.
As quickly as crossing the state line, you will see it within 20, 30 miles.
Sometimes county lines. Yeah. We'll cross a county line and all of a sudden gas is 20 cents cheaper per gallon. And it's just mind-blowing. And it can be hard to plan for. It can be hard to make sure that you're being sensible with how you spend your money. So definitely costs. And just know that this costs more than people think it does. Everyone, I think, thinks they're going to take off and save, thousands and thousands of dollars. You're probably not. You're probably going to spend similar to what you were spending wherever you were before. Next up on our pros list, number 6 is minimalist lifestyle. I would say that by nature, Josh is a minimalist, and by nature, I am not, but I seek minimalist lifestyle. I love simplicity in the conceptual of it. I don't know if I love it in the practical as much, but we live in 200 square feet, so the reality is we don't have a lot of stuff. And since moving into our 5th wheel and then downsizing again into our Airstream, we have just found such relief in how long it takes to clean, how long just the possessions that we have, we love. We've chosen them very selectively. They bring us a lot of joy. And I don't know, it's really nice. Our clothes, I think, not so much for Josh. I think he bought more clothes right before we left. But for me, I went from a giant walk-in closet, a second closet that had like seasonal and special clothes in it, to like this tiny little closet and some drawers. And I'm not any less happy by it. I love the pieces that I own. I love what I choose to have. And I love it. I love having this minimalist lifestyle.
Yes. So kind of transitioning to cons again, number 6 is a connection to friends and family. So when we were in New York and Seattle, we definitely had friends and family, if not miles away, within an hour or 2 drive. Yeah. Right now, being on the road traveling full time, it varies, depending on what city we're in, but oftentimes it's non-existent. We do stay connected with them via phone and FaceTime and things like that, but it is definitely something that we've noticed. Our journey along the way, we're trying to stop in places where we know people and just catching up. That's also something that we weren't able to do before.
Yeah. It's definitely one of those things where if you don't spend a lot of time in one place, it's hard to meet people, right? It's hard to make friends if you're in one place for a week or less. And so it's definitely something that we've noticed. We're also, I would say, generally the youngest people anywhere we go to stay. And that might be just a reflection of our choice of parks in the first 3 months. I think Josh and I both want to change that a little bit in the future months and put a little more variety in where we stay, and hopefully we will have an opportunity to come across more people. But I'm not sure there's just as many people our age traveling full time like this. And so it's a little bit harder to kind of create those friendships and those bonds with new people. So if you're out there and you're a nomad watching this, leave us a comment. We'd love to meet you, know what you're up to, cross paths. That'd be so cool to hear what you're doing, and yeah, we'd love it. So next up on our pros list is time together. You cannot live in 200 square feet with your partner if you do not really like them and want to spend time together. And Josh and I run a business together. We're married. We live in this tiny little space. We move a lot. I think that for some people, and people say to us all the time, you're crazy. I don't know how you do it. Don't you drive each other crazy? And yeah, sometimes we drive each other crazy. Of course we do. We did that in 1,200 square feet houses, and it's so. I love the time that we get to spend together. I love that we live in this space together. We are on this journey together. Yeah, I think it's great for our partnership. It's great for our marriage. It's
definitely brought us closer in more ways than you can imagine, not just physically.
Right, yeah. We can't fight the same way. You can't go to opposite rooms and be like, I'll deal with it later. If we have a fight, you gotta deal with it, right? Yeah. And that's the reality. And so it makes us better and stronger, and I love it. It's really cool. And we're gonna have this life of memories of these really crazy experiences together that is super cool.
Yeah, I do as well. So next on our cons list, number 7, are travel days. So right now we oftentimes travel about once a week, sometimes twice, just depending on where we are and what we're trying to see. They can be exhausting depending on the location and the distance in particular. There's time to hook up, there's time to set up, and then there's the uncontrollable, the traffic where you're driving. It does add up. We're traveling with 3 cats as well. They ride in the back of the truck with us, and they're rather large, spacious cages, but they are not quiet at times. So something we've definitely learned to deal with and got much better at.
Yeah, travel days are stressful. We've driven hundreds and hundreds of miles in a given day. I think our longest day has been plus upward of 8 hours. The cats in their kennels, they don't want to be in the kennels for 8 hours. We don't want to be in the truck for 8 hours. We've driven through torrential downpours. We've climbed, 8, 10, 12, 11% grades in California, and then had to come back down the other side. We've driven on some of the most insanely bumpy roads that should not be bumpy. Like Southern California, you guys need to pave your highways insane, where you would just get to where we were going and we would just be completely exhausted. And while we will not be able to eliminate all of those things, we're definitely trying to find ways to make those days less of a con. Next up on our pros list is the ability to focus on our business. When we lived in our house and we worked our corporate jobs, we still had our business. We were starting it, and it was hard sometimes to find the time that we really wanted to grow our business. You gotta fix something in the house, you gotta mow the lawn, you gotta, I don't know, it feels like there's always something you have to do when you have a big house and you have all these responsibilities. We had all these extra things we were doing, and choosing to live this lifestyle and to downsize and to travel really has allotted us a ton of time to be able to focus on our business, acquiring new clients, improving our skills in our business. And so we love that. That's amazing. If you're interested in knowing a little bit about how we quit our jobs and started this, we have a blog post that we wrote when we first left, and I will link that below. You can check that out. And we're also going to bring a video to you in this series as well in a few weeks about how we did it, some tips we have if you're interested in becoming either just self-employed, maybe you want to stay put and do that, or if you want to travel full-time as well. We've learned some things and we want to share them with you.
Yeah, and just going to the other side of things on the con, on number 8, distance to basic amenities. And what I mean by basic amenities is mail, laundry, bank, grocery store. So we don't have a mailbox at the end of our driveway.
Yeah.
Oftentimes laundry isn't just in a closet. It's going to a laundromat or within the park. So it's stuff that we've had to kind of adjust and deal with and kind of plan ahead more than anything during these first 3 months.
Yeah, I don't think I quite appreciated the level of effort effort it would take. You know, thank God for Amazon lockers and like pickup counters. It has really like been a lifesaver. We've been places where, you know, yeah, I'd love to walk into the local store and buy it. They just don't stock that thing that we need, and it's, you know, stressful, and I'm so thankful. But also there have been places where we needed to order something from somewhere that wasn't Amazon, and the shipping is inconsistent, and we'd have to call ahead to Parks and the company we were buying it from, and try to coordinate when it would be shipped, how many days would it arrive while we were somewhere. It is like it's so much more work than like going to the end of your driveway and picking it up out of the box. Grocery stores too is another thing that I just really didn't think about. That one, we never go to the same grocery store twice. While we will go to the same chain in regions of the country, because grocery stores are super regional, the layout of a grocery store is never the same from like location to location, and we spend so much time wandering around grocery stores trying to find things that we want, or brands that we like, or
one Trader Joe's is different from the other. One Target is smaller or bigger than the other, so
totally
it's definitely something you don't think about as much when you're going to the same one all the time, and you're
you know
consistent
exactly
location.
where that thing is. Also, Josh and I eat plant-based, and so there are certain brands of things that we really like, and not all locations of a chain may carry that thing, so then you have to kind of risk, do you get a different brand, and maybe you don't like it, and I don't know. I always think about, like, we've walked by bread aisles so many times at grocery stores and had to like ask people where will we find the bread, and they're like, you've walked by it 3 times. So it's just like those kind of things that just add time, add stress. Grocery shopping used to be like a 45-minute task for me. It now feels like it takes hours, and I love grocery shopping, but man, that is a lot. We just shot, actually yesterday, a grocery haul for you, so you can see what it's like to go grocery shopping when you have 7 cubic feet of grocery or refrigerator space to put your food in. So we'll have that out for you in the next couple weeks as well. So if you're interested in what it looks like to grocery shop when you live tiny, we'd love to show you.
Yes.
Okay, next up on our pros list, I think might be my favorite one. And
especially where we just lived.
Yeah, is no daily commute. Now, I have worked all of my adult life in major cities, and I have always had some crazy commute. And in some places it wasn't so bad. In Seattle, it was terrible. We lived fairly close to downtown, and we had to drive to work because there was literally no reliable public transportation to take. And it just was so stressful, and it would take half an hour one day and 2 hours the next day. It was never consistent. It was enough to make you crazy. So I love that we can get up, walk 10 steps, be at a desk, sit down, do our work. It definitely makes for way less stress mornings. We sleep better. We eat breakfast sitting down and not like on the go. And it's just really, it's so great. I love it. I love it so much.
And if you look at it from a numbers perspective, you know, in the beginning, it doesn't seem like it's much, 30 minutes, 45 minutes a day, but over a course of a week, that's, 5-6 hours. What is that?
Times 2, because we've got the commute back.
Yeah. So, and then, what does that look like on a course of a year? So we're able to gain back so many hours in a year. What can we use that time with and dedicate that towards personally, towards our business? Yeah. So
time together.
There's just a bunch of different ways you can use that time a lot smarter.
Yeah.
And we're really enjoying that.
Yeah. We've set some goals for 2020 around how to use that time, and we're gonna kind of focus on different parts of it every month each on the different goals that we've set to try to really maximize that use of time in a growth way.
Yeah. And then just the number 9 on the cons is lack of community. So we're together a lot, and that's great. Val mentioned earlier, there's not a lot of people out there our age are doing the same thing. On the road in particular. So, having that sense of consistent friends or people we see on a regular basis. I know myself, I was, and intramural sports when we lived in Seattle, New York. So that was really great on a weekly basis to have that camaraderie and seeing those people each week. It really brought a lot of joy. Out here, there are a lot of other things that bring us a ton of joy. But just, as of right now, lack of community is definitely on the lower end. Something we're looking to improve along the way. So, I see in the foreseeable future that definitely switching over to the cons, or in the pro side of things.
Yeah, I hope so. It's really hard. This is a unique, out-of-the-box lifestyle. We don't know anybody else doing this. Oh, I take that back. We know one other person doing this. And, sometimes we just have questions about how other people do this and things they've learned or resources that they might have, or maybe we just want to ask about, have you ever been to this place and do you have any recommendations? And that can be really challenging, and also it's a little bit hard to network for your business when you don't have consistent interactions with people. So hopefully through YouTube and through our movements and our connection to people, that will, like Josh said, become a pro in 2020. That's on one of our goals. And I think our last thing is both a pro and a con, and that is unpredictability. We have so much that we can plan for, but there is just an abundance of stuff we can't plan for, and that can be really exciting and really fun and lead to really amazing experiences that feel life-changing. And it can also lead to exhausting, hard, challenging, undesirable experiences as well. And
stuff that pop up that you don't want to deal with at the time, but you have to. Just part of, this lifestyle.
Yeah.
And again, that's great because we get to do so many awesome things, but there's, the flip side of that.
Yeah. And that's okay.
Yeah.
We are learning to have our love-hate relationship with unpredictability be a little less hate, a little bit more love, and to really go with the flow. Remember, we said we're working on patience in 2020. And then we have a bonus. This is kind of definitely a pro, but just in general, one of the biggest things we've taken away from the first 3 months on the road that I'm most thankful for is our time for growth, whether that's reading, meditating, learning a new skill, whatever that is. This extra time that we have, this less stress that we have.
It has really allowed us to take a step back and not just reacting and going, saying yes. It's both of us have definitely felt the difference, particularly towards the end of month 2 and into 3, when we really started to, find that better groove.
Yeah, definitely. And it's interesting because you think, well, I was reading a lot before, I was meditating before, you totally were. We totally were, at least. And I don't know that we were getting it quite to the extent or the value out of it, because it was kind of like another thing on our checklist, like must read in the morning, must do meditation, and now it feels like, again, a choice that we have this time, and we don't feel like we have to rush to the next thing on a list. We have
very
some space.
present.
Yeah, we have some space to breathe and process and think about things and think up new ideas. And I love it. I feel great about it. Josh and I have set a list of goals for 2020 we each have for ourselves about things we want to accomplish. And with that, we definitely are going to focus on that, something different every month in 2020 to really help us grow as people, to grow as partners, to grow our business. And hopefully we'll come out of 2020 with not just a huge, amazing bucket list of experiences, but a huge bucket list accomplished of growth as well.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, so if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. We'd love for you to hit subscribe. Josh and I put out new videos twice a week. On Sunday, it's all about our travels and our adventures and whatever we get up into. And on Wednesdays, it's about life on the road, what it's really like, challenges, pros, cons, costs, things we're learning that we can share with you. If you're interested in being a digital nomad, if you're interested in traveling more, or you're just kind of curious what these two crazy people are doing, because sometimes this feels a little crazy, but we love it. So we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for joining us.